Good evening, sports fans, and welcome to the All Balls Sports Show, a discussion of any and all sports, local, regional, and national. And now, here are your hosts, Dan James, Eddie Bobo, Ty Cobb, and the coach, Vance Ballou.
Thank you, Bill Jones. Welcome into this evening's edition of the All the Ball Sports Show for this 24th day of April. Glad to have you guys along. Appreciate you being here.
Good to be here.
And Dylan Rabior Memorial Golf Tournament coming up on Saturday at Stony Brook Golf Course. We got things set. At this particular time, I think we've got 34 teams. And if you need to play Saturday morning, my suggestion is call TJ, Heather, or Vance. But they're going to tell you, we don't mind you playing.
But you're going to have to bring your own cart.
Thank you. You got to bring your own cart because carts are going to be
a premium.
Thank you. Yeah, we're not even going to get it one. So,
no.
So there you go. But that's coming up.
We don't even get to use the gator, do we?
No, we don't.
Or mule that we carry.
No, we don't get a chance to do that either. But we'll be out there about 7 o'clock, setting up for all the golfers to be there, and it's going to be a lot of fun. It's always for a great cause. This year, one scholarship will go to a football player for Columbia Central High Lions, and a second scholarship goes to the general population for seniors that are out at Central. So we'll, be able to give two scholarships to two deserving young folks of $2,000 apiece, and that'll be great. That'll be a wonderful thing.
Yep. They had to watch the film about Dylan, and then they had to write an essay, and then that's how they were narrowed down to the two picks. So, but anyway, it goes for a good cause. Always have fun doing it. Of course, we're tired at the end of the day and glad it's over with.
But the golfers have a good time.
Oh, they do. They do.
Everybody has a great time. Parks Motor Sales is sponsoring the hole-in-one hole again. Mm-hmm. They're also going to give away a set of tires to the longest drive.
Right.
For men.
For men.
And then I believe for the ladies,
there's some sort of gift basket.
Wine basket.
Wine basket.
Well, there you go. You can't beat that.
No. No. Well, I wonder if Ty's going to bring his ringers in.
That's what he did last year. I looked and I thought, these are professional lady golfers right
yes,
here.
They are.
Or semi-pro.
Semi-pro,
anyway.
Yeah.
So we thought that maybe there were just a few ringers. Maybe just a few ringers that showed up.
Ty is no dummy.
No.
And then whoever gets Brother Bob, he is aged up to where he can
play for the women's tees.
Yes. He gets to take advantage.
There you go.
But now I say this, and I do believe I could be corrected on this come Saturday, but I do think that you have to hit from the standard tees in order to win
the longest drive. Right.
And the hole-in-one.
Right.
So you have to hit from the standard tee.
It's the other holes where you can get an advantage.
Oh, yeah. For old guys like me, you can throw it. I can throw it better than I can hit it.
Well, I like that line in Bagger Vance when Bagger gave him the driving iron first time, and the wind was blowing real hard. He said, "What's this?" He said, "That's a jigger. That's going to keep it under the wind." He said, "Well, my putter's got as much angle to it as this do." He said, "No, they're about the same." He said, "Well, why don't I just try putting it there then?"
Speaking of golf and Tiger Woods making a big comeback.
Yes,
I was
he did.
actually, and we haven't had a show since Tiger won the Masters. Which what better stage can you have than coming back at the Masters,
right,
and doing what he did when everybody wrote him off? 6-7 years ago?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
even
he obviously
2 years ago he couldn't even get out of a chair.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So-
So
Right.
they wrote him off.
He had the surgeries and rehabilitated and
The personal issues he caused himself.
right.
You know, which of course everybody covered that.
Yeah.
He had the toe.
Yeah.
But the funny thing watching him and knowing when you watch him, at every single hole he never smiled.
Right.
He was totally, completely focused on that game.
Now he did yell when he hit that last putt.
Yeah, because he was going to have to do something because he
Right.
was down to his last two. Otherwise, we're going
Right.
to go into to a
Right.
playoff.
But anyway, yeah, and it was an emotional victory too. I mean, you know, when he come up off the green and hugged his son and then it hugged his daughter, you know, that was
And his mama.
and his mama, right? You know, and what was it? 22 years ago that he won the first one.
Yeah.
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 And you know, so that was special too, right
Yeah,
there.
and they
So,
popped up the picture
of him and Earl, right?
That was neat.
Yeah.
So this is the first time at the Masters that Tiger has won without holding the 54-hole lead. In fact, he did not take a share of the lead till the 66th hole, and only then he held it for a moment. Woods would take the lead for good at number 15 and finished under par in 4 straight rounds.
Mm-hmm.
And from my understanding is that the Masters course ain't that easy.
No, it's not. It's very narrow. You know, so
Well, they Tiger proofed it a few years ago.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
They
yeah,
lengthened it and
yeah. Well, yeah, when he was hitting his monstrous drives way back then, nobody else could
Yeah.
touch him. So they said, well, we're going to just lengthen these holes a little bit. But what got me though, it ain't them long holes that gave people problems. It was that par 3 over the pond that
Yeah, yeah.
gave everybody the
it's
problem.
constant. Amen corner's going to
Yeah,
catch it, and
yeah. But,
then you know
They
it's
should
what it
use-
is.
they
But,
should have used my Jesus ball.
but Tiger played the course
Yes, he did.
and stayed in control.
He could
And then-
he didn't
He
play
didn't play the leader.
opponents.
Well, he didn't play the leaderboard.
No,
And
no,
then
he just played the course.
when he, like we were talking about, when he caught him
They
and
panicked.
got ahead, then they started pressing.
Mm-hmm.
They started doing, and that's the old what happened with Tiger. And you got to remember, these guys that he's playing against, he inspired them
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
to come along.
right.
And so they finally got a real taste of what it was
Like to
like
play
a few
Tiger.
years ago.
Yeah,
And it was fun watching those last 4 holes or so. He played great.
And I don't normally sit down and watch golf, but I just had to be attached to the TV
Mm-hmm.
watching that.
I
Because
was
it got
too.
to be old hat back in the day, and I hate using that term, but he got to be old hat watching him play because he'd always win.
right,
And then now he's gone for so long
right.
and hasn't won a major in, 7 years? Something
Something like
that.
that. 6 or 7 years. Yeah,
And that was just a minor major.
right.
Well, there's no minor majors. There.
Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, lesser major, and not to the extent of the Masters, but then he comes back and wins this thing. And do you think this could be his swan song?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think
If
he
he
proved.
stays healthy. He's
I
gonna
think he
play.
proved to himself that he can still play, and you know, and I think this may inspire him to even get better. You know,
He's not going to be dominant.
no,
'Cause
he's
there's
not going
too
to be the
many
dominant. There's too many people hitting long drives now.
Playing good.
Matter of fact, he got outdriven nearly every hole.
Yep.
You know, and you know,
But that
never-
just goes to prove the long drive doesn't necessarily make you or break you.
And he still proved that he can hit
Oh yeah,
the ball in a bad lie situation and make something good happen out of it. And now that was missing for the last 6 or 7 years.
I think he finally got over the psychological disadvantage he's had for several years.
Right, and it was just an amazing thing to watch. I mean, I was tickled to death for him, and I wish him well. I hope he does win several more.
He's inching up on Jack.
Yes, he is. What is he? 3 back?
3 away.
3 away from Jack on majors. So, and he was the second oldest to win the Masters. Yeah. Jack has been the oldest.
Yeah.
But 46.
I heard that Jack called from Hawaii
to
congratulate him.
Yeah. Wow.
There's your tough life, living in Hawaii.
Oh yeah. Got to be tough. Yeah. What is it somebody said before? If you could retire and live on what you have right now, where could you go to? And my answer was to the end of the driveway to the mailbox. Yeah, I told people when I was getting ready to retire, I said, I'm getting ready to retire and live off my savings. I don't know what I'll do the second day. But I've held on.
Takes us back to our previous conversation before we went on the show.
Yeah.
We'll just leave that alone.
There you go.
By the way,
we got?
Alabama coach Nick Saban underwent surgery, a successful hip replacement surgery on Monday afternoon. Following the surgery, Dr. Lyle Kane released a statement on the procedure through the school's athletic department. Coach Saban underwent successful robotic-assisted right hip replacement surgery this afternoon with our hip specialist, Dr. Benton Emblem, and the team at St. Andrew's Sports Medicine, Kane said. Coach is resting comfortably, and we anticipate a full recovery. You should be able to return to work, yelling, screaming like you normally do. Well, I did that. I'm sorry. In the very near future, and we'll have him back out on the golf course with hopefully a few more yards off the tee as soon as possible. So there you
go. You mentioned the doctor's name or surgeon's name. What was the name of the robot?
Robbie.
Well, since
he's
it was hip
probably
surgery,
making recruiting calls. From
don't you know? Don't you know? I mean, would he be recruiting at this time, or was that done earlier?
I don't think they ever stopped recruiting.
Oh, okay.
Well, there is a dead period.
Yeah, there is kind of a dead period, but even during your spring games, you have prospects come, and they're the guests of the school or whatever, and check out the program. So it
never stops.
It never stops.
I have to be honest and say that he was on the other day, the Alabama red and white game, wherever they call it. Didn't watch it.
I didn't watch that one. I
skipped past it.
I watched the orange and white game and
didn't watch that.
And I was really disappointed. I mean,
did it have 104,000 fans like
no.
Jeremy Pruitt?
No.
Well, then there you go.
Wasn't that many people up there, and that was still a fairly large crowd, but it wasn't game time crowd.
Yeah.
Garantano, he completed just a little over 50% of his passes, but he didn't throw an interception. That was a good thing. And but the backup quarterback that played for the other side, he showed me a strong arm, and I think the longer he's in the scheme of what they're trying to do and how they're going to do it, and gets more comfortable with the plays and all that, he's going to be an asset, And of course, then they got another quarterback that hadn't hit campus yet, that's coming in this fall. So
Cheney's good with quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a big help.
Well, and T. Martin's working right now with the receivers, and I'm sure he can lend a little.
Well, but you got a Heisman Trophy winner coaching quarterbacks.
Right. So
they put together a good staff.
They got a good staff. And like I said,
it's putting together the talent, though.
Well, and let's face it, this is just Jeremy's second season.
I agree.
And
but you know that Tennessee folks, their expectations are so high.
For the vast majority, yes, they are. But like I told you, we have got to step back from that.
Yes.
And give this man, I say, wait till his 5th year. And if he can't do anything by his 5th year, then it's time to replace him. But, don't even talk about replacing a man before then, because this way it's going to – if you wait 5 years, you're going to have nothing but his recruits there.
And he's just now assembled his staff.
Right.
I mean, he took over a staff that was not his.
Right.
So he's bringing in his
kept some
folks.
and
moved them around.
Let some move on.
Let some go bye-bye.
But the reason Nick's resting comfortably in his hospital room is who he's got overlooking the program.
Oh,
Butch.
I wasn't going to go there. No.
That was for you, Coach.
Brick by brick. Just saying.
Should have brought that up.
No,
well, there's one thing that Butch forgot to mention, though, on that brick by brick when he was with UT. You got to put mortar in between the bricks.
Yeah.
Charlie was putting mortar between the bricks.
Yeah, on his part of the wall. But
give him time.
Yeah.
Give Jeremy Pruitt time.
Jeremy Pruitt's a football coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all he's.
If anybody's going to succeed, he's going to.
Yeah.
He's going to do it, and he's going to do the best job that he can.
And I think that the Lady Vols program is going to turn around. It's going to take some time.
It'll take a little while. I think they need to get back to a lot of the Pat Summitt discipline, and if the girls can't buy into that, they need to move on and make room for somebody who's willing to buy into the system. And, of course, back in Pat's day, boy, she had them running all kinds of, had them running the steps over at Neyland Stadium and
we talked about this before. Is the culture, or has the culture of the players now changed where you can't do that?
Well,
you should do that.
You should still be able to do it. Now, there again, that's what I'm saying about if the player's not willing to buy into that, then they need to look for somewhere else. That's just my opinion. And, I don't care if you're All-American or whatever. If you're not willing to do what it takes to get to the next level, then you shouldn't be there. I mean, there's people that would give their left arm to play at UT,
Oh, yeah.
And
well, you should know what you're getting into.
Right.
But they are saying that it's a different generation. Of course, they've always said there's a different generation, every time it's coming up. But I believe it is harder to coach now.
Yeah. Yeah,
really
because there's so many restrictions on you.
Yeah.
But
wish we'd have found some restrictions.
I was thinking about Mike and the Mechanics song. Every generation blames the one before.
Yep.
But yeah.
I think Kelly would do a good job. I appreciate the fact that she, from the very get-go, said that I am not Pat Summitt.
But I learned
from Pat Summitt. Right. And they said that the number 2.
That was my daughter who just texted, and she's coming back from
L.A.
Well, not Lower Alabama, but she's coming back into town. So there you go.
Okay.
Anyway,
but I lost my train of thought there for a minute.
we were talking about Kelly Jolly, whatever.
Oh yeah, and it's my understanding that they also were looking at Kara Lawson, and they just felt like Kelly had the more experience and all of that.
Well,
so
I think Kara probably likes her gig.
Well, I'm sure she does.
Because then she don't have to deal with
Right,
18 to 22-year-olds and
right.
their qualms.
And your winning percentage. But yeah, but I was tickled to death that UConn ladies didn't make it into the final. And
Yes. I was extremely happy that Gino didn't get a chance to go again.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, and I was kind of tickled by Rick Barnes' response to the UCLA athletic director when they said that Barnes contacted them. He very quickly said no.
But what's up with all of that? Of course, he was. They hung a big stake out in front of him from UCLA, but they wouldn't buy out his contract or whatever it was.
Right.
And then you got to look at the culture shock between being at UT and going to Southern California.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, here's this deal of LSU. Was it LSU? You said? Who was you saying?
UCLA.
UCLA. No, the other one that you were just talking about. Was there another one?
No.
I'm sorry. Anyway, but you're looking at the culture shock between the two areas of the country, and who contacted whom?
Right. And like I said, the offer that was made to him, he would actually be taking a cut because you figure in the cost of living.
And everything. And then if he had to pay out the buyout, because he had to pay taxes on the money that they paid him.
Right.
To cover the buyout.
Yeah.
Somebody had figured it out that if he took the job, he was going to be taking about a $250,000 cut a year.
That's a big cut.
That's a
yes,
big
it
cut.
is. A lot more than I make.